So, and that article and many others in that book really made me think about the extent to which, who are environmentalists? White, middle class, people with some free time and who could go out and hike around and stuff. Well, hey, that's great. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other people in the world and a lot of other perspectives, a lot of other ways of seeing what's going on and assessing it. That don't necessarily fit into that way of seeing things. So it seems to me that someone who is interested in ecopsychology needs to be interested in the developmental levels that in which human psychology operates, the cultural and social factors that are shaping and conditioning it, in order to make sense of how ecological issues show up to people at those different levels.
Yeah.
I mean, it's vital. And also, I think for ecopsychology, it's really important to avoid the pre-trans fallacy.
Say something about that
Well,
quickly.
this is one of Ken's major, I think, conceptual breakthroughs, the pre-trans fallacy. Well, what is that? There's a lot of, he would argue, and I think he's right about this, confusion about what is, when you're an infant, okay, you have this kind of undifferentiated sense of unity with your mother, who's the typical care, your symbiosis there, okay? Now, hey, that's got to be great. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But when it's good, it's got to be blissful, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so, and Freud talks about that, the pain of having to leave that behind and establish a separate self and all this kind of stuff. So a lot of what people in this world of New Age spirituality and so on talked about, in a way, recapturing, going back to that infantile, blissful level as enlightenment. Okay, now I get that, and Ken himself in his first book, what is it, No Boundary? He talked a bit like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but he later on, and I think he's right about this. He said, look, that can't be it. Because then you couldn't be an adult. I mean, you have to leave that behind. Now, in the developmental process, there are transpersonal states, which hopefully can become stages or solidified in your life, which have elements of that bliss, that union, that expansiveness. But you got to go through a lot to get there.
Right.
In fact, there was a great a line that I think it was. What's this guy's name? Jack Elgin, I forget it. Back in the 80s, his famous phrase was, you have to be somebody before you can be nobody.
Exactly.
Right? So you have to go through that developmental process, which is a pain in the butt, and who likes it? You're separated and you feel isolated and fear death and all that kind of stuff. That's what it's like to be a human being. But we are told, and I've had some taste of this, that through various practices and developmental capacities which are made available to us by culture and wealth and so on, we can have a taste again of that bliss, but now as post-adult. I mean, it's something that is available, but you have to get there.
Yes.
It's not about going back. It's about moving ahead in a way that
it's transcending and including.
Transcending, including.
Yeah.
So I think that for eco-psychologists, that's really important to get.
So not to make a judgment from this pre-idea of what bliss is and what the world is, or what.
Right. Well, it's part in a way. It's sort of
Gaia.
like the noble savage myth.
Yes.
We can only be simple and and naive and innocent and be one with Gaia. Well, it's just
it sort of does away with our whole psychological development into adulthood, doesn't it?
We should respect that,
right?
And also respect that most native peoples aren't like that anyway. Yeah, they become adults too. They have the same problem. They have the same issues, a different cultural lens, but they have to face up to all that too.
Right. So integral ecology would be important for ecopsychology and vice versa. I mean, it is to me in a way that, how could you do one without the other?
I completely agree with that.
Because I think one of the things that I love about your book and what you've done in this work with Sean is that uniting multiple perspectives piece. Is that it's been so hard in the field of ecology with all the different lenses to have any kind of framework that sort of brought it together. And I think applying integral theory to that discipline is probably, obviously you're one of the greatest contributions you can make, I think.
Sure.
So I'm really hoping that, I'm loving having the eco-psychology students in this course because they're going to teach me, you're teaching me, and including these units on integral ecology in the integral psychology course has been wonderful for me. So I think we need a whole course on this. How could you not? I mean, integral ecology and eco-psychology are so much the same.
Sure.
And I don't see how we can not do that, because these 2 units in this course is not going to be enough. I think all ecology students are going to want, that much sort of integration of the field, if nothing else. And what I also wanted to say in relationship, I'm sure this textbook is 800 pages. I think you have lots of other academic articles and stuff to add to this that are coming out all the time, and the latest cutting edge. What I think is interesting is, we have these excerpts from you at the Integral Sustainability Conference, which is in 2004, and that was, to me, so cutting edge that right now the book comes out and we're current. So, it's really nice to be able to have access to that video, and you're a wonderful lecturer, and I'm happy that they get to hear you. And I just want to thank you for coming this morning and taking this time. I know you're very busy.
I'm very, very happy to be here, and I love talking with you. And
I hope we do it again.
I hope we do it again too, and I hope you.
Millions of questions.
I want you to get your integral social work.
Text going out. Right, I'd like to do that.
Well, it's all tied together.
It is.
I think that's part of the integral idea, that we can't have psychology or social work out here and then environmental issues out here. No. It's these things are related.
And I think this is what integral theory has done for us is we got so separated out and reductionistic in universities, and so we're back into the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary point of view, and integral theory helps us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, and you have a good vacation and
thanks.
enjoy.
Have a good flight back.
All right, thanks.